What's up, you guys? Welcome back into iHeartRadio's official wrestling podcast, the Battleground Podcast. What is going on? It is Battle alongside my tag team partner, Eli. And, of course, WWE is rolling in town to Cincinnati and Sacramento. Of course, you can grab your tickets online now, WWE.com or Ticketmaster.com. Today on the show, a man who everybody knows, a man who everybody loves to hate, except for us. We don't hate him on the show. We love him on the show. Grayson Waller joins the show.
Wow, it's a real pleasure to be here. The both of you couldn't look more like wrestling fans if you tried. You look like every bloke in the front row at the show, so this feels normal for me.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? We got to be a mark on the show for sure because we're fans of pro wrestling. That's why we do the show. But I want to.
I know, brother. You didn't have to tell me. I can tell.
Hey, you know what? We actually had one of your friends on earlier that you have a little bit of beef with. Penta came on. He had some not so nice things to say about you, but we'll save that for another day. I want to go back for a quick second, a viral moment on social media that involved you. You're at a meet and greet with those two kids, and you say something. Next thing you know, they start just slapping each other. What's going through your head in that moment?
Well, that was for we did a bit of media at a tryout. So obviously you got Shawn Michaels, Rhea Ripley, Chelsea Green. We've got a good little squad there, and these poor kids, they love wrestling, but sitting through an hour Q&A with all of us, for 5-6-year-old kids, they've got a lot of energy. So I was just trying to have a little bit of fun, tell them to fight, and I forget, 5 and 6-year-olds are pretty susceptible to anything you say and doing it immediately. So I thought it was a good scrap. The lad on the left, he could probably work on on his left hand. It probably wasn't where it needed to be, but they've got time to kind of improve a little bit. It reminded me of being at NXT. There was a little bit green, but if they work on some of their strikes, they could be big things one day.
Okay.
Excellent.
I just remember watching the video and just everybody's reaction around, and you're just like, fight.
And it was good too. I was impressed. These boys had some energy. I didn't think they were going to probably take it as far as they did, but what can you do? They're not my kids. I ain't stressed.
Right. There you go. Fans say you're one of the easiest guys to dislike in WWE, which is honestly a huge compliment, in your line of work. Do you ever think about where the line is between good heat and go away heat, or is any reaction a win for you?
I wouldn't say I necessarily think about it, but I do think you do see now, especially because I think wrestling has become everything. I think you watch almost any sport, and I think influencer boxing is a great example of what I would say is bad heat. Every influencer boxing, if you ever see those social media guys, they say things way too far. They're always pretending to fight each other. You can just feel how fake it is the whole time. With me, I'm just being realistic. When I say these things about people, when I say things about Penta or people in the crowd, I mean it. It's just me being allowed to say whatever I want, which is fun. But I do think there is definitely a line where it goes from entertaining to something different. And with the WWE, that's not something that we do. But I see a lot of people try and mimic what we do in other arenas, other sports, and they can't do what we do. We're very good at what we do, of making sure, at the end of the day, we got families coming to the show. So we got to make sure we're having fun with it, and the fans are having fun. Well, I don't really care if the fans are having fun, but my boss is going to be upset if they're not. So, you kind of got to think about those things.
Right. Absolutely, for sure. A lot of people like to compare you to Logan Paul on social media. Confident, cocky, but, also someone who can deliver when the bell rings. Do you take that as flattery, or do you feel like it downplays what makes you different?
I would never say that. If you get compared to Logan Paul, I don't think that is a negative at all. Obviously, everything Logan's done in such a short amount of time is very impressive. Look at everything he does outside the WWE. Look at the eyes that he brings to WWE. And I'm someone, when I was in NXT, I actually got to get in and train with him. He wanted to train with Shawn Michaels. Shawn didn't know if Logan knew that he doesn't bump around anymore. So that was my job to come in and kind of help Logan out. But I could tell that day, he genuinely cares about what we do, and he's very passionate. And when you're coming in as a celebrity, I think that's the line that we draw in the locker room. Do you actually care about this? Do you actually want to do it? Or are you trying to get a payday? Are you trying to get eyes on you? Are you trying to just take from us? But Logan's not that guy. He genuinely cares, and he's very good at it. And I think that upsets a lot of people. So if I get compared to him, I'm not stressing, but I also do think I set myself apart from Logan in a lot of ways. I'm there every week. You need me in NXT, you need me to do AAA, you need me to do any media interviews. Grayson Waller's doing it all. You know, Logan's a in and out kind of guy, but that's just because he has so much more going on in his life outside the WWE. For me, WWE is everything to me. Means a lot to me. So I think that's where we differ.
Yeah, absolutely. And you mentioned when it comes to celebrities, you see the time and effort that Logan's put on. You see somebody like a Bad Bunny who's came in and put time and effort. You go back to like when we were kids watching wrestling, they would bring in celebrities like Snooki came in and took like maybe a bump here or there, but nothing crazy. But it really goes to show that when these celebrities are coming in, they're putting work in. They're not just coming to take a payday and just stand there. Like
Yeah,
even Jelly Roll.
yeah, and I think Logan Paul ruined celebrity wrestling because he was so good at it and put in so much effort that any celebrity coming in after we compare them to.
Right.
So, you know, we had certain people who it's more with the NIL program, you know, you get some of these college athletes who are social media celebrities. They want to come in, they want to go straight to the main roster. They want to straight away do big matches at WrestleMania. It's like, no. You have to understand Logan did that because he's a special breed, he's a special athlete. Everything I've heard about Jelly Roll from the NXT guys who work with him, he was there every day. He was there for hours. He was doing everything that we do. So if someone's willing to put themselves through what we went through, I've got no problem them being in the business. But if they just want to come in and get a cheap payday, like they're going to disappear real quick.
Yeah, good answer. Yeah, very good answer. Australian wrestlers are kind of having a moment in the sun right now. There's a lot of Ray Ripley, Bronson Reed, yourself, Peyton Royce, and Billy Kay from TNA, still killing it over there. What's it like seeing so many of your fellow countrymen in such a big stages now in 2025?
It makes me really happy because when I started training in Australia, I knew from the start that the talent was there, and the talent's been there for a long time. But I think Australia is very like untapped. When it comes to like the American indies, everyone is signed. The UK indies kind of got gutted a few years ago, and they're slowly coming back. But like I think Australia is the region where there's so much talent, and because we're so far away and it's hard to kind of get your eyes on it, these people just sit there just waiting for their chance. So someone like Zarya, who gets picked up by NXT straight away, she's an absolute killer down there. She's crushing it, and I think that's going to happen more and more as like, you know, I think Sean and NXT know, hey, if we want someone good, we go to Australia, and there's 10 or 15 guys and girls sitting there who can be on TV in 2 weeks. So I think it's something that's been a long time coming, and I'm proud that it's finally happening.
Yeah, for sure. Something really cool as wrestling fans that we've seen involving you. You've had moments with legends like Cena and Edge and a handful of others. Which one of those stills feels surreal when you look back from it? And how do you keep yourself from, fanboying in real time?
Yeah, for me, I handed in my fan card the day I walked in the NXT doors. I saw it as a respect thing, is that I don't want to get it in there and be like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm here with you, because I don't think I would be myself in the ring when that happens. I don't want to be the guy chasing photos backstage and things like that. I don't think that allows you to be your best. So for me personally, the way I show respect to these legends is I want to get that photo in the ring with me slapping you in the face. I think that's the best way to get a photo. That's what I have on my wall. But especially for me, like getting to be in there with Cena a couple of times, especially now that's his last year, and you kind of look back at everything he's done and what he means to wrestling, what he means to a lot of the guys who are in the locker room now who grew up watching him. Like it's kind of surreal, and I think it's times like these that I look back on events like that, being in the O2 arena with Cena, and go, wow, that was really cool. But at the time, for me, it's just work. I'm getting in there. I want to show myself off. I want to show that I'm on your level, type of thing. So I think it's a situation where you look back and you're kind of like, that was a cool moment.
Yeah. Another cool moment you're talking about, you want that picture of you slapping them in the ring. Do you have it framed somewhere in your house of you, kind of pulling your hand back on Triple H when presenting that tag team title on you?
I've got the tag team championship up, but that kind of, represents that time. But that's something that, you know, every time I see someone win a championship, there's the Triple H point. And for those people, that's a very cool time. Triple H is pointing at me. But for me, I'm like, this is my time. I just won the tag team championships. Like, I don't want I want the photo to be me. And for me, in theory, we like to have some fun. We like to joke around, and we saw it as an opportunity to take that moment back and be like, hey, just so you know, we're doing this our way. This is about us. This isn't about you. You're not going to steal our spotlight. So we took a risk. We took a risk with that, but that's what you got to do in this business sometimes.
Right. Now, pulling the curtain back a little bit, because we've all watched the Netflix documentary Unreal. Did he say anything to you once you got back to Gorilla after that moment happened, or was there like the silent treatment where you just kind of went your own ways?
I'm trying. Were there Netflix cameras for that? Oh, there
I don't.
weren't. Oh no. Oh, so that means you guys aren't gonna know what happened. That's
Next
part of the
season on.
fun. I'm one of the guys who I'm not a big fan of Unreal. I understand it's a really entertaining show, and a lot of my mates have watched it and say they love it. But for me, I love the mystery. I don't like the magician's secrets to be revealed. But I think in wrestling, there's a certain situation with disrespect. When you do it on camera, it's different to doing it behind the scenes. When you're doing it on camera, it's for a show. We're doing it for a reason. If I did it backstage, that's a whole different situation. That's when I'm taking a pedigree, probably on the concrete. But we'll leave a little bit of mystery about that. But we had some fun with it.
You've done a lot of moving within WWE, NXT, SmackDown, Raw. Was there one thing about the main roster grind that maybe caught you off guard, or maybe you weren't expecting once you moved up?
Dude, the travel sucks. The travel is horrendous. You got lots of flight delays. Like you're leaving early. After TV, you might have a 15-minute match on Monday Night Raw, and then you got a 6 a.m. flight home, so your body's sore. So I think it's the travel is the one that's a real wake up, and I think that's what the grind is. The wrestling's the fun part. Being on Raw, being on SmackDown, getting to wrestle, like that's the fun. I get paid for the travel because the travel is the tough spot, especially when we're doing West Coast and then we're doing Red Eyes. Like I think that's the thing people don't see. Is people see the glamour, the glitz, the show that we do, but they don't see everything that goes into it beforehand just to get us all there at the right time. So the travel's the one that really woke me up.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Now I know our time is coming to an end here shortly with chatting with you today. We always like to have a little fun towards the end of the interviews. If we were to scroll through Grayson Waller's playlist, is there a certain song that if we see on there, we're like, we're surprised. We didn't think Grayson listens to this. What is that song on your playlist?
Man, I do have a very eclectic taste in music. I got my gym music. If I'm running, I got a little bit different. But I will admit, I am a bit of a musical fan. I do enjoy musicals here and there. A little bit of the music. A little bit of Hamilton every now and again jumps in there. I'm trying. The Greatest Showman is also a bit of a banger. Hugh Jackman.
Yep.
He's a fellow Australian, so I can get away with that. So every now and again, it filters into the podcast. Very rarely, though. Very rarely.
Very rarely, for sure. Well, I know our time is limited here with you, Grayson. Last question I have for you. I got a friend of mine who is in Philly. He's a big Eagles fan. He wants to know, are you a real Eagles fan, or were you just playing to the crowd?
Yeah, see, it's very disrespectful when people call out my Eagles fandom. I was playing Madden with Donovan McNabb when I was a kid. That kind of jumped me into the Eagles fandom. Unlike Cody Rhodes, who decided to go for the Eagles 2 years ago.
Right.
Fancy that when they start winning. I'm a real Eagles fan, and so I'm very much enjoying it right now. I know we're going to Cincinnati soon. They've got Jake Browning at quarterback, so they're probably in a miserable mood. So they probably need a little bit more of entertainment, a little bit of enjoyment. That's what WWE presents. That's what Grayson Waller presents. We go to these places, who have these terrible teams who are really struggling, and we go and we put on a show. We entertain the fans because the quarterbacks of their team can't do that. That's the kind of people we are,
Yeah, absolutely, for sure. Well, Grayson, it's an honor and a privilege to have you here on the show. Last thing before we let you go, anything you want to say to the fans that are watching or listening to this right now?
A lot of people have a lot of mean things to say about Grayson Waller, especially on social media, but here's your opportunity to say it in person. Coming up, we got SmackDown at the Frostbank Center in Cincinnati. We got Raw going to Sacramento, which is always one of our favorite places to go. So if you want to say those mean things, say it to me in person. You can get a ticket in the front row. You can say whatever you want, and I'm happy to listen, and I'm going to be happy to talk back to you. So, stop hiding behind your screens and come have some fun with us in person.